think that's kind of why I started doing what I was doing, because I didn't know what the heck was going to happen. I sure as hell didn't expect it to last this long, but my speculation is with the holidays and especially with New Year's that it's not going to get any better anytime soon. I mean, look, Thanksgiving just went by, and they said that the airports were the crowdest they've been since the outbreak. So people are getting itchy. They're not caring. They're like, screw it. And of course, that's going to increase infections, and then everybody's going to start shutting down everything. So, trying to think ahead of like, well, how can you still do this if worst case scenario? And for me, it was like, well, if everybody can do it, in the freedom of their own home and still showcase their talents, then more power to them. I sometimes feel like, I don't want to be that guy to be on top of people, to be like, hey, your part's due so we can finish this song. Everybody else did their part. But, that I leave that kind of on them. But for a project for like what you're doing, there's at least an incentive for them. If you said, hey, I got somebody that can splice up a song. So if you guys have a way of recording and just get the pieces to, this guy, then he can edit it all down, make like a little, it doesn't even need to be a full song. It could be like, a minute segment to introduce the band or whatever, what do you call it? The nominee or something like that, and then the winner, can just pull an existing song and play it in the background. But, as far as live performances, the people that I got, if I told them, hey, they need live performances, do you want to use some of these songs, or do you want to do some, new stuff and talk about the award show kind of like thing? You can totally do that, I mean.
How did you come up with that imagination?
It started actually MHRE, which was imagery. And that was like, I don't know, 20 years ago when I was doing like graphics and art and stuff like that. So for me, imagery, you can see my, like, imagery is kind of my fuel, along with music. Music, it puts imagery in my mind. So, it keeps the creative juices flowing. So I started a business for like web design, graphics, stuff like that. I called it Total Imagery, but then I wanted to branch off, and I thought, well, I want to showcase other people's creativity and their imagination, and it clicked, imagination. So I'm trying to mess around with these, MHN, oh, this works. And actually the logo is all the letters all scrunched up together. So that's why at the end of our music videos, I don't know if you see, but I make the little animation so that it goes together. Just, people probably still don't get it, but it's just a little subliminal thing that, they're exploring their imagination. So that's kind of where it came from.
And it's awesome, dude. Some of the people you have on there are fucking ridiculously awesome. Like, this is some good talent. Like,
I know.
Saw that the Journey one, that one was awesome. Cecilia has a great voice.
Yeah, she was kind of, like the first go-getter. You introduced me to her, so I reached out to her, and then she pulled in Chris, who's been a diehard on guitar, and then he pulled in people, and then it just kind of grew, organically. I had a few people that, I reached out to specifically. Some of them have, pulled through. Some of them are still, struggling with life issues or whatever and stuff. But, now I got some of these new bloods coming in, and the trippiest thing is I haven't met any of these people in real life. I don't know them personally. I don't know nothing about them other than playing music on these videos. But when I put them together and finalize them, I'm like, man, I really would love to have like an all-star jam to get all these people together that are local, which 80% of them are, and do something, and showcase their talents as kind of like a thank you for, the last year of contributing and stuff like that. So who knows, maybe that'll happen.
You've been you've been a big shot to this community, and especially the music community itself. You personally, not only are you a tremendous help with No Cover and a godsend, but I mean the imagination and in unifying people in a time where everyone's saying "fuck you" to everyone. You know what I mean? And that's you. That's a big feather in your cap, man. And you ought to be super proud of yourself.
I am, and I have to remind myself that every once in a while, because sometimes I get caught up in the, crap too. But I think the reason why I was drawn to what you were doing was because I saw similarities in myself. I mean, look at the SRH, this goes back to the Cottonmouth days, late 90s, early 2000s, when I was, doing music promotion back then. And the message back then was always, kind of like a brotherhood and everybody supporting each other, cross promotion. You had SRH, 1605, Suburban Noise. You had all these bands like Head PE and, Orgy. And just, it was almost overwhelming, but it was cool because you had all this creative energy around and everybody was helping each other out. So I utilized that to refine my ability to do stuff. Like I taught myself how to do websites. I taught myself how to do postcards, do business cards, do buttons, do stickers in order to help, and then, design t-shirts. I didn't design this one, but I'm still supporting SRH by going to their website and, representing, that it's just what I've done. And so when I saw that's what you were doing for Ventura County, even though I've been out here 10 years, I'm still a newbie, when I joined Power Syndicate, that was the only real reason why I needed to go any more further west of Oxnard. So it was all new to me, and it was a trip. I grew up in Santa Monica, so I found similarities of like, the beachfront, Santa Monica, downtown, that whole thing. And it was cool, but I'd like to experience more, but yeah, it's just kind of instilled in me. That's what I do. I try to help out where I can.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm the same way. And there's a part of me that finds you so fascinating because I want to know why you do it. Because maybe I'll find out why I do it. Because I don't even know why I do it. I do it because I really don't know.
I when I was into art, when I was doing a lot of art shows, because we would like rent out warehouses and invite like 50 artists and have them bring like 5 pieces, and we'd hang up all the art, put all the lights on, have a band. I mean, like do it outright, and invite a whole bunch of people to come in and check out everybody's art. And we didn't want anything back from it. All we wanted was to just basically like throw a party, we just wanted an excuse to throw a party with people that were like-minded. But I think for me personally, because I know a lot of other artists are a lot more into their craft than I am. They're very refined with what they do. I've always considered myself a panic artist because, I like get stuff down and I like to just get it out. I can't.
That's me. I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
So if you consider it art.
Well, I think communication in itself is an art form. So if you're able to communicate and network with people, that is an art form. I believe anyways, because it's not a skill that everybody has, we may communicate differently, and it sometimes can make it hard to get the message across of what you're looking for or what they envision, or even their interpretation of what is coming out of your mouth, and you got to change words around. Communication's a trip. I'm not very good at it, to be honest with you. I'm a good machine. I'm a good do stuff, you know. You ask me to do stuff, I'll do stuff.
What's your
And
number
that's
one piece of art, like that you've created, the one thing that you are the most happy with, like that you would constantly show if you had a chance?
Wow.
I mean, music, I mean, your art is ridiculous. Like, you can paint, you can draw, you can, you know, electronic art, music. I mean, you are a complete artist. So that right there would make me so, I'm so interested in hearing and seeing what you consider the best piece of art you've done.
You know, it's funny. I appreciate that. It's funny though, because a lot of times I'll hear artists say, you know, oh yeah, you know, I'm an artist. And I don't, I guess, consider myself an artist. That's why I say a panic artist, because I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not just a painter. I'm not just a graphics guy. I'm not just a music guy. I'm not just an editor. I do so much stuff that if it's art, then I guess I am an artist. But I kind of pride myself on just being a creator of things. You know, like I've sculpted stuff before. I've made a piece of artwork out of found material, and that is
Even your
I would
backyard,
say
bro.
I did my backyard, yeah.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything you touch, you consider a piece of, or I consider a piece of art from you.
Well, yeah, I think yeah, I don't know how to take compliments real well, but yeah, I mean, it's just instilled in me, you know. I mean, even music, you know, I play music. I've been attempting to do some vocals to some of these songs, and I'll listen back to it, and I'm like my own worst critic. I'm like, oh, that sounds like shit, and
What song were you
you know,
trying
then
to
I
do?
gotta give it to other. Actually, I did like 5 or 6 songs. I did Another Brick in the Wall, but it's the Korn version, so it's the heavier version. And then I did Thunder Kiss 65, which was you know, White Zombie.
How'd you memorize all
And
those
then
lyrics? I probably heard that song a million times. Don't even know one lyric in there.
I don't. I'm a drummer, right? So that's why now I'm in singer role, and I have to print out the lyrics, and I record one line at a time, and then I stop, and I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I give singers props, man, because to remember all them lyrics to all them songs, especially these cover band guys that are pulling off 30, 40 songs a night, more power to them, man, because I don't have that memory, you know. I can feel the groove, you know, and if I have a little mess up or something, I can kind of recover, you know, but vocally, if you mess up, everybody sees it. So yeah, but I mean, I know that I got pipes. It's just, you know, only certain ranges, certain kinds of songs I can sing. Like, you know, Pearl Jam's a perfect example. His range is closer to my range. On the metal side, it would probably be more like Godsmack, like, you know, that lower kind of growl kind of sound.
Dude, do it.
But
You did Iran, right? That was you?
yeah, I did Iran.
That was good. I
I'm
want to.
also doing. Go ahead.
I want to hear. I want to hear like something like a Godsmack of you doing, or like I would love to hear you really go out there and test your pipes, because I thought that Iran was good, and for a second I thought you were doing Journey because I didn't see the video. You just sent me the. That's
Well,
why I was so surprised.
I did do the other White Zombie song, and you know, he's got pipes too. And just doing that song, so I can't even think of the song right now off the top of my head. But yeah, that song was a fun one to do.
Living
And then
Dead?
I've done no, God, I don't even know the songs that I'm doing. We're doing so many, and I just made a new list. So now everybody's jumping on like, oh, I want to do this song. I want to do this song, and it's cool. But I'm looking at it real quick so that I can. That's how lame I am. Well, I did "Fade to Black" by Metallica.
You sang that one?
And then I sang that one.
I've never.
Black Sunshine. Black Sunshine. That was the one that I did. I think you can share screen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, host disabled participant share screen. Yeah, let me see what I can do here.
I can hear it. If you can put it up here, that'll be cool too.
I don't know if you can hear that.
Okay, I vaguely remember this. That's the White Zombie one, right?
But you got to see the whole thing now.
Most of the time, I literally put your channel on and I just clean my house or I work on the studio, things of that nature. And every so often, I'm really surprised by the talent that's there.
Yeah, the new guy Nick who came on board, he did the Journey tune. He also did "Who Can It Be Now," and his range is all over the place. I mean, when he hit me up to do Journey, I was like, because nobody wants to do Journey. Like if you don't do it good, people are gonna notice. And so I thought, oh, challenge accepted. So I did the drum track. I gave it to him. He came back, did vocals, keys, and guitar, and I was like, damn, check you out. So when I put it all together with the bass, I mean, it sounded badass. And so, I mean, I'm grateful just to even have that song with him, but he's all about it. Like he signed up for like 7 or 8 more songs.
How did you do the piano for the Journey?
In the video, he shows how he did it. That or I'm sorry, no, that was for "Who Can It Be Now." He did. He has this thing that guitar players, I guess, slide into the guitar when they play it. It can make like different sounds. So he did that, like with the horns on "Who Can It Be Now." I believe he did that with the keys on Journey. I'm not sure, but I had asked him too, because again, I don't know these people. And I said, how do you pull that song off live when you're playing? And he said that he bounces back between guitar, vocals, and keys, so he has that ability to do it live. It's just visually when we do these videos.
What's this guy's name? Nick?
Nick, I believe it's Pappas, Pappas. He's in a cover band, and he's good. I mean, I've seen them do a couple of other Journey tunes, and he's got pipes.
Are they local?
Good dude.
Is he local?
I was trying to find the name of his cover band. The Jukes Band, Jukes, Jukes Band. But to answer your question from earlier about what my favorite art piece is, only because it popped up in a tab here, I'll show it to you real quick. This one is one that I made like, I don't know, a long time ago. And you can see I'm kneeling down, so it gives you the perspective of how big it was. It was probably like 4 feet by 3 feet. And it was all made with found materials. So all I did was just basically find like plywood, hooks, screws, all these little knickknacks. And, it was a couple of weeks that I put into that project, and it was heavy as hell. But I felt such a sense of accomplishment afterwards that I tried something new and kind of outside of the box. and people dug it. They were like, what the fuck is this? You know, and
Where
I
is
was
it
like,
at?
I don't know. I just kind of did it, you know.
Where do you have that piece?
But something happened to it, and I don't know what happened to it actually. It was in a gallery and it got lost, or somebody accidentally threw it away or something. I don't know. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's probably
That
one of
picture.
them. I think the other one was I forgot what city it was in LA, but I was invited to do one of those boxes, like the utility boxes, and to paint all four sides. So I did that as well, and so that was really cool. And to get like random people emailing you a picture, like, "Hey, I just drove by this and I saw it. This is badass," and it's like, "Cool, thanks." You know, just that kind of stuff feels good.
Fucking A. We're putting something together.
I think you're muted. I don't hear you.
Everything opens. We want to put in like this thing called
I
Hug.
don't hear you.
Oh, you don't hear me?
I don't hear you.
Okay, hold on.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, are you there?
Yeah. Is that okay?
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
We want to try to do this thing like a community day once everything lifts up, to try to reunite the community again and to draw traffic back into Ventura. It's called the tentative name is Hug Day or whatever, and we want to commission an artist. We want to, pay an artist to draw a mural in Ventura. Like, how interested would you be in that?
I mean, I'd be totally down.
Okay.
I see a lot of friends doing it, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to have that opportunity, but they're like out there, hunting for the opportunities. I'm not a hunter. If something comes across my path, I guess I'm a scavenger if I'm not a hunter. I don't know, but but I mean, if the opportunity comes up, I'm totally down for a challenge.
All right. Yeah, because that's what we were. That's the big discussion. Is anytime we do something like that, we want to leave something for the city, and maybe a nice mural for them would be good. That was our thought process.
Actually, I have a friend that just did a mural out there in Oxnard, right across from the Copper Blues.
Oh yeah,
Levity Live. There's that big wall there. They just got that new mural. Place? I guess so, yeah. But one of my friends got that opportunity, and she went crazy on it. From the pictures I've seen, I haven't seen it in person, but the pictures I've seen, I'm like, dang. She gets crazy though. Again, with the detail, like that wouldn't be something I would do because I don't have the patience for that. But I definitely would come up with something of my own creation. And of course, I would kind of sketch it out beforehand, and get the approval of the people that, want it put up and go that route.
Okay.
But once it's execution time, that's it. There's no stopping back, and there's no turning back, I guess.
So what's up with your neck and your shoulder? I've experienced shoulder pain, neck issues this week, Saturday and Sunday especially.
Yeah, that's old age, man. Old age catching up to you, whether it's,
man, come on. Those are, you have herniated discs in your back. How'd that happen?
Well, again, when you're younger, when you're in your 20s and you're, working at a lumber yard or something, or like a Home Depot, and you grab like a 90-pound bag of concrete over your shoulder, you're like, and you're taking it out to the customer every day, all day, stupid stuff like that. When you're drumming, when you're in mosh pits, when you're stage diving, when you're in football, like all those injuries catch up to you in your 40s. But I think me personally, actually, I got jumped late 90s at an Ozfest at Glen Helen, and I ended up in county out over there because I was pretty fucked up. I got in the middle of these guys that were just coming and thrashing people and continuing and leaving. So it wasn't specifically me. I was just not paying attention. And this group of like 6 to 10 guys came in and just blew through me like a tornado, you know, stepping on my head, kicking my face, stepping on my back. And then what seemed like minutes was only seconds. It stopped. And I got up and there was no one around. And the adrenaline kicked in. I ripped my shirt off and I'm like, got all Hulk, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, got all pissed off. And then I passed out, I guess. And I woke up and I was tied to the gurney and they were taking me in the emergency. My eye was all sealed up. They had a neck brace on me and I fucked up my neck, my face. I was pretty jacked for a while. And, but again, I blew it off. I just figured, you know, it was what it was. And then as time went by, you know, I started having like my hands would go numb, especially when I would start drumming, you know, my fingers were going numb, couldn't feel the drumstick, shoulders started hurting, neck started hurting. I'm like, I went to the doctor and they told me that my spine is thrashed. There's a lot of compression on the nerves from, you know, the top part to the bottom part of my neck. And it's a trick because I get schooled on it. You know, I never knew any of that stuff. Like in between this vertebrae and this vertebrae, it covers this, and this vertebrae that covers this. So 3 years ago, I had my first neck surgery, which they did a fusion. So it's basically like a metal bracket, and they just go in, take out the 2 discs, put in 2 fake ones that are from like cadavers, and then they put a bracket in and use these screws and you're good. And then that was good for a while.
Like, do you feel like not 100% yourself, or do you feel that you are like, maybe I'm like, is there any weird feelings by having someone's body inside of you or even metal inside of you?
The having somebody else's body part was kind of a mind fuck before I had the surgery, but then after I had the surgery, I was like, well, this is kind of cool, you know, like this person's helping me out, you know. But you know, as far as physically feeling anything, no. My voice was different the first surgery. I had an issue where every time I swallowed, like it hurt, and I was like, told the doctor, I'm like, you didn't put everything back in, because they actually go through the front. People think neck surgery, they go through the back, but they actually go through the front. So they go through here, they open you up, they move your whole throat to the side, and then they get to your spine. And, you know, they take the disc out, they put the other disc in, and they screw it, and then they put you back together. But this second time, was a disc replacement. He wanted to do 2 because he saw that I was having issues, but the insurance wouldn't cover it. And so he was kind of like, well, I hope this works, but I have a feeling that, you know, there's a gap in between your fusion and where I'm going right here. There's a gap that's not being addressed, but the insurance won't let me address it. So I can only do this one part. And I'm like, do what you got to do. I got to get rid of this pain. Long story short, they did it. It was good. It fixed the pain in my throat. But as it started healing, the bone started healing over the fake disc. So now it's pushing on my spinal column. And so now I'm feeling all this weird stuff down this side of my hand, or like this whole part of my body will kind of like go numb or feel like electricity is going through it. So now he's got to go back in, take that piece out, put another cadaver bone, fuse it again. So now I'm going to have like 2 brackets
Are they going to
up in my neck, and I go,
or sand it?
Yeah, they got to go in and sand down all this bone spurs and stuff like that. But it's kind of sketchy because it's so close to your spinal cord.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of stressing me out. Like, even though I've gone through the drill twice already, this is kind of a new one. So it's kind of stressing me out, but more so the fact of like, oh, I mean, not like, oh, I'm going to die or anything. It's just, you know, I don't want to be like paralyzed and, you know, not being able to function or something, you know. But I think it'll be all right. I just want the pain to go away, you know.
They
so
offered me that. That's what they offered me.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready for it yet. I'm just worried about anything.
It's a big deal. Any surgery is a big deal. I mean, I've had so many major surgeries in my life. This one was pretty sketchy because, you know, you're dealing with the spine. It's different than having like elbow surgery or, you know, I mean, stomach surgery is a big deal too, but spine, for me, that's like only if you really, 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 really need it, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you can get away,
that much pain that you need it.
Well, my issue is that it's nerve related, so I can't let it go on. Otherwise, I can develop nerve damage, and that is permanent. And that is something that they can't fix. So, you know, if these bones are pushing down on nerves all the time, and you know, it severs that nerve or kills it, that means, you know, my hand doesn't work anymore. These fingers don't work anymore. Whatever nerve is connected to that, you know, my pito doesn't work anymore. You know, nerves are a trip. That's what I learned over the last 3 years.
That's crazy, man.
But hopefully you start feeling better. I mean, does like medication help you at all?
Cannabis.
That's all you take?
Yeah, well, dude, they were just giving me like fucking 90 Vicodins at a time. And I'm going home and pounding on, you know, 6 of them a day, 7 of them a day, 10 of them a day. That's not healthy. You know what I mean? I'm up all night. I'm freaking I turned into a pillhead. Like, so I had to stop. And then that's part of the reason why I got out of the service. And I just started smoking cannabis, and that's it. It's nuts. So, the Rattler.
You know the drill.
I mean, it really doesn't help. Hold on. Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, there are 6 L3 Harrises in pre-cap that if you can take a look at them. I
did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So where are they now?
They're probably waiting to be sealed.
And where does that go?
In the sealing room.
And that I'm sorry, the sealing
room. Let me go double check it real fast.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make sure they move.
I want to, if you don't mind walking me around, because I'm sort of learning where things are too. So,
okay.
Is that the one up in the stock room?
Right. No, it's over here in the end. It's hold on, I'll show you.
Where Christina's? This way.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
Work shit. They want me to actually work here. The fuck?
I know, I was thinking if I had to actually report to my office, I would be sitting there just like, you know, so I'm grateful that, you know, I can work from home, and I'm kind of on call now, even though my normal hours were set to whatever, I still check my email after hours just because, you know, I want to keep things running, you know. But I'm grateful that I even have a job, because I know a lot of other people out there are in a messed up situation with all this COVID stuff and businesses closing and financial woes and all that kind of stuff.
It's fucking crazy.
I can imagine going through all that and having kids too. I mean, that's a whole nother thing that I personally chose not to take on that responsibility. So therefore, like, those arguments out there, you know, I don't really have anything invested in those, but I do sympathize and can only imagine what that would be like. I guess the hippie in me just try to get all and be like, let's all just kind of like come together and find a happy medium and then work on a solution. Like, otherwise, if we're all kind of separated, doing our own thing, then nothing's going to get done. But again, like I said, that's probably the hippie in me or something. I don't know.
All right, here's my last question before I had to jam out. What do you think of this COVID thing? Because I'm getting mixed emotions from you, or mixed signals from you. Because sometimes it seems like you take it like real serious, and then sometimes it seems like you're just joking about it. So I just don't know on a personal level where you stand on it, and not that I care. It doesn't even matter. I'm just curious, personally.
I mean, I think I try to, again, look beyond what I see on the news or on Facebook, and I get it that, you know, there's going to be opinions here and there, and I try to figure out.
Okay.
Wait for inspection.
All right.
Sorry. And I try to figure out like where I align with them. But the short answer is, I believe that we're in the middle of a pandemic that we've never experienced before. And even though it has happened in the past in history, we're a totally new generation. So the way we're dealing with this pandemic is, I think, dividing us, and the timing of it with the elections has just amplified it. So now, if you strip all that away, what do we have? Well, we have a pandemic. It's a global pandemic. There are people all over the world that are affected. It's not just the US, it's not just California, it's everywhere. And, you know, some people compare it to the flu. Oh, it's just a flu. Only this many people died. Well, yeah, but that's only when it doesn't apply to you. But when one of your family members or friends get stuck with it, then it's, oh yeah, I know somebody that died from it. So, you know, you can't go that route. I think if people just wore the masks at the beginning, maybe it wouldn't have blown up as much as it did. But certain people had to go out there and have all of these events that, you know, had a lot of people, and my feeling is that didn't help things. And it also visually made it okay for people to not worry about a global pandemic. And I think that is a part of the big problem. Stripped down as much as I can. I mean, I wear my mask and, you know, I don't go anywhere because I don't want to get sick. I'm high risk. I get sick all the time. I believe I had it in December, but that's a whole nother story. And so, yeah, I mean.
I think I had it in December as well. Yeah. That's how I stopped. I mean, it got me so bad that I stopped smoking, you know? So.
Yeah.
But my family, we lost a member. My uncle passed away back in October 4th, I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Sorry to hear that. And he passed from COVID?
Oh, well, I mean, does anybody really pass from COVID? You know what I mean? Like, he was a smoker for 40 years. He had COPD. Is that what you call it?
With COPD, yeah.
Yeah. So once they put him on the ventilator, I sort of knew, you know. But he was suffering since July or August.
And see, that's the thing about the disease that I think people are ignoring right now, is that, yeah, you know, your chances of getting it may be low, but your chances of getting it and passing it on to other people are high. Mm-hmm. So that in itself is a responsibility now. It's like, okay, well, we have to be responsible for other people, if not ourselves. You know, if we don't give a shit, well, at least let's give a shit about other people. But that's the divide right now that we have, is some people give a shit, some say too much, and other people give a shit, some people say not at all. You know, so how do you get these two worlds to come together and do something productive, on the same level. And I just don't see that happening. We've been so divided for so long, just not the last 4 years, but I mean, look back at the Rodney King, beatings. I mean, everybody was anti-police then. So all this anti-police stuff now, it's nothing new.
And that
It's
is
always
all
been like that.
every single time one of these things happen, it's an election year. So that's why so many people want to call bullshit on it. I mean, think about it. George Floyd, that Brown kid, Rodney King. I mean, every single time you turn around in the past, I only can remember since '92. I didn't pay attention to anything else, and I really haven't even looked into it. But every 4 years, they want to bring this up. And it's either one, 100%, there's a bunch of racists in this country, or two, no, it is used, and we're being manipulated into giving a fuck about things that we don't know about. So.
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, there are things that are actually happening, and then there's the media that are portraying what is real, what isn't. It's like a painting. It goes back to, taking stuff and making something out of it in your own way. That's what these news channels are doing. And there is a divide. Instead of one unified, unbiased news source of here's the information, you figure it out, like, hey, look at this painting, what does it look like to you? It's not going to be the same to everybody, but you also don't need to explain it. If you need to explain it, then it kind of takes out the mystery of, or even the joy that you feel when you're looking at it. Like going in a museum. If you and I went in a museum, looked at an art piece, we're not going to see the same thing. So with news and stuff that's out there right now, I think it's very damaging the way that they're, doing it. And, so my friend said it the other day, and he said it perfectly. He said the left wing and the right wing are connected to the same bird. And I told him they're all quacks, because it's true. Both sides, I don't know.
I think what battle I'm willing to fight and willing to stand up for is media. And seeing over the past, just 8 to 10 months, all the lies that have been coming from, I don't give a fuck. Is it Fox? Yeah, they lie. Is it CNN? Yeah. Is it MSNBC? They're all lying. And then you have these people on, Facebook or Instagram making these posts that are, exaggerating lies. And it makes people hate other people. It makes people of color hate people that are white. It makes people of white hate people of color. And if there's a real problem in the world, it's with it's with the media. And I don't trust them. And that might be a right-wing stance or whatever. Definitely not. I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm just over it. I'm fucking definitely.
See, even just that right there, that's the sad part, is that, people ask me, are you Democrat or Republican? And I say, I'm neither. And they go, oh, then you're a libertarian. I'm like, no, I'm neither. I'm nothing. I see stuff from both sides, and I come up with my own opinions or my own ideas or own thoughts. If they align one way or another, it is what it is. I watch both sides of the news, and I see both sides are stupid. So I just take the bare bones of the content and come up with my own assumptions. And I mean, to be quite frank, if people want to know what side I'm on, living in California, I am not proud to have Pelosi or what's that dude's name? Newsom on our side, because from San Francisco to LA to San Diego, our homeless population is ridiculous. But yet down the street, they're living in bougie houses and doing their thing. So, if I were to say, oh yeah, I'm pro-Democrat, that means I stand with that, but I don't. If I say, well, then that makes me Republican, that's not the case. Because in the last 4 years, I've seen people follow this guy who is a leader who doesn't seem to have a sense of humor, who doesn't seem to like a lot of things except himself. And to me, that's kind of dangerous and not very appealing. I hear and watch Obama talk, whether I agree with him or not. His voice is calming, it's soothing. I am engaged. I'm listening to what he's saying. I may not agree with everything, but this other guy, I've listened. And what I've heard is the same things over and over and over and over to where they start to lose substance. And then I'm thinking, okay, well then what else does he have? And now what I see, it's just like, oh man, okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to go out like that, but if that's his choice, then, you know, who am I to judge him? But I'll never say I hate this person or I think this person that, I mean, who am I to judge?
I definitely, I agree with you a lot. Like, I feel that I have, in the past, 4 years since that guy's been in office, I've literally made thousands of comedy sketches about him. And I just jumped on the bandwagon just for the sake of trying to be funny, I guess.
Right.
And, this guy is hell bent on proving that there's news that is fake and proving that there are, he thinks that everyone's out to get him. He's very, but I've witnessed firsthand some of the things that he's done that's helped my family. So I think, what he's doing now with the election fraud, if the election fraud is real, then bravo. But if not, it's just, all it's doing is it's just hurting our world even more. Like, so if you really have some shit, then let's go. But if not, don't delay this to make it go into a situation that we don't need it to go into, which is turning more people against each other.
I think the damage is already done, honestly. Even if he pulled the plug now, the wheels are already spinning out on the streets. So I say this, you can put it in, you can edit it however you want, whatever. I said this to my wife the other day when I was watching a clip about him, and it clicked on me, and I was thinking of World War II and, like, the end where troops are coming in to defeat Germany and Hitler's hiding behind a bunker, right? And I'm like, and that kind of sound like dude in the White House, like he's starting this war outside, but he's hiding behind his bunker. Like, not that I'm comparing him, but I kind of am. Mm-hmm. Not what he's done or what he's doing, but the mentality of how he's trying to exude his power. Like, it's through propaganda. Back then it was propaganda. Right now it's news media. News media is propaganda. And you throw that propaganda out there, you get people to do your dirty work for you. And that's what's happening right now, is that there's a divide. There is an intentional divide, so that, well, if they take this away from me, then I'm going to make it more fucked up for you. I'm not saying that Biden's a saint, because, I mean, it's just, which is the lesser of two evils? Do you want this shit or do you want this shit? I mean, and I think we had 4 years of this shit, so why not try 4 years of this shit? Because another 4 years of this shit may benefit some people, but I think it would probably hurt more people. That's just my opinion.
With the I don't know, for the past 8 years or so, maybe 10 years, I've been a Bernie supporter. Like, just riding that Bernie coattail, man. And part of it was me being in California and me hanging out with people.
Right away with everybody.
Yeah. And I felt in the Hillary case that she burned him. The DNC burned him.
Yeah.
And people were screaming voter fraud then. And then I was like, there can't be voter fraud. And then this next little wave that we just went through, I was like, it's Bernie time. It's going to happen. And it happened again. So now that
But on the flip side, right? Back then it was, well, Trump lost, so deal with it.
No.
Now
I'm talking about Bernie in the primaries. Bernie
for
losing to Hillary and then losing to
2016?
Biden. Both 16 and 20 and 19.
Okay.
Whatever. 17,
Got it.
15 and 19 or whatever it was. Or 16
Yeah.
and 19. Or 16 and 20. I don't know. So now that they're saying voter fraud, if it's real, let's go. Like, because I'm all for it. If you're going to, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if that's the case, and if you did that and they can just change the vote on a whim, we got to figure it out. Or it's just me being crazy fucking conspiracy guy.
No. I mean, I even told my wife, I said, theoretically, what if in 2016, some Democrat people figured out, well, yeah, there was voter fraud, but we can't really call them out on it and prove it. So let's master it over the next 4 years, and then we'll hit them next election. If there is voter fraud out there, it didn't start now. It had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. But again, it's like, to dissect that, it's going to take time. And we had to accept it then. I don't see why it should be so hard to accept now. You know, it may be 10, 20 years from now to where they go, oh yeah, back then there was voter fraud, but they can't announce that, because then that's just going to tell everybody, well, the system's fucked up, and then nobody's going to want to do it. I mean, that's the message that he gives, which doesn't make sense to me personally. It's like he goes on the media to tell you that the media is fake. So does that mean that what he's saying right at that moment is fake because you're watching it on the media?
No, but the media
And
spins
now-
everything. Like the whole people on both sides thing, that comment, he never said that. Like, there are some situations where the media just spins the fuck out of everything. And if you only listen to media, you would think that guy is a fucking racist, xenophobic, fucking homophobic guy. And from my point of view, I don't see it that way. I see him as ego. His ego is bigger than all. He loves himself more than he loves everything else. 100%. I can see that.
Yeah.
But I think that and I understand what you're saying, the media, to go on to the media, because I thought about that too. I thought, is he lying?
It's the same thing with voting. It's trying to say now that the voting system doesn't work, so how's that going to affect future voting? Are people going to go, well, it doesn't work, so we're not going to vote anymore? I mean, he can't really, that can't be the message that the media projects, because then that would screw up the system, and the government doesn't want that, right? They want everybody to be in line and do what you're supposed to do. But this was the first year I ever registered to vote, because I never believed in two-sided politics. But this time around, I felt that, I had to do my civic duty. I didn't feel I think I felt a little pressured to ride that wave. But I made my own decision. I didn't just go by what the media told me. I see businessman, politician. I don't think that there's any reason why a businessman should be in politics. That's kind of how cut and dry I can put it. Doesn't matter how crooked the politician is. I wouldn't want Mr. T in the White House or Arnold Schwarzenegger in the White House over a crooked politician. You know what I mean? Again, you got the lesser of two evils. You got two piles of shit to choose from. Which one are you going to choose? I used to choose, well, I'm not going to vote. I don't want to vote for either of them. Why should I? It doesn't make any sense. and people would give me shit about it. I'm like, well, why do I have to make a choice? You know, and again, that's a whole nother conversation about having to choose sides for anything. But this time, you know, I just kind of took it upon myself to say, well, you know, I'll put my $5 in and see if, you know, whatever happens. And here we are, you know. But I don't foresee all, you know, rainbows and daisies just because, you know, somebody took Trump out. That wasn't my reasoning. My reasoning was, let's see what this dude can do. And if he fails in 4 years, then we'll pass the torch again. Because that's what everybody's talking about, what we should do in Congress, or we should do in the Senate, or we should do in the House, right? So why not give these guys a chance to mix it up and not do these 8-year terms, especially if, you know, their actions or abilities are questionable, you know?
Yeah.
That's where the voting thing comes in.
I definitely think that if anything comes from this situation that we're in is voter reform. I mean, basically for the past, you know, for the past month, they've been having all these lawyers poke and prod and IT guys try to hack into it. And if they can make it happen where they prove that there is some sort of fraud, then maybe some voter reformation can come from it. And you know, just like I said, Rome isn't built in a night. We take everything a day at a time, and we fix every problem as they come.
And it's the same with this COVID thing. I mean, you know, everybody wanted answers and resolutions within 2 or 3 months for a global pandemic. That's what people keep forgetting. It's like, where do you start? Mm-hmm. You know, and they have to give people something. So they're like, well, here, you know, we figured out some of these numbers, but they might not be accurate, but here it is. And then a month later, the news goes, oh, well, they told you this, and now it's this. So what are you going to do? That was all I heard over the last 6-7 months. It's just this mind twist. And my YouTube channel would be askew depending on what I had watched recently. And I saw that, and I'm like, whoa, my Facebook, my phone, everything. It was like, whatever I most recently was watching, that's what they wanted me to engage in.
It continued. And
I saw that documentary, and it just all made sense. And I'm like, oh, all right. So, you know,
I know what documentary you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, I mean, everybody kind of knows, but again, everybody bitches about their privacy. Like, oh, I don't do that because I don't want, you know, so and so to. They already got it. You know, if you're already connected, if you got a bank account, it's already out there.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't give a fuck. They can spy on me. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I just got to make sure I don't fall for the algorithms. You know what I mean? To keep me in my phone for hours at a time. That's my decision.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, I catch myself, you know, getting sucked into it. You know, it's like a drug. It really is.
Because it's pumping your dopamine in your brain, and you want that again. Yeah.
Well, and dude, it's that you know, information. You know, people want some kind of stimulus, whether it's looking at pictures or seeing a little video or reading what somebody said or engaging in what somebody said, because they want to start a reaction. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many factors involved that, you know, I used to be a lot more engaged, but now I just don't have the energy or the time, you know, to
I don't either. I think it's the energy. Like, people are going to believe what they want to believe, and there's nothing you can do to convince them or talk to them other than to just hear them out. So you're more into what they're saying, you know what I mean? So you understand a little better. Dude, for a smoker, your skin is dope. You look nice. Not gay, but like, you look young.
My skin?
Yeah, your skin. You look young.
I told Celia I'm a vampire. She believes.
I believe it, man. All right, man. Well, I got to get going, but thank you. I'll edit this, and this will be up hopefully tomorrow. Depends on how long the render is.
All right, cool.
All right, my
Thanks,
man.
man.
Thank you for
having
the time.
me. All right,
I
peace.
appreciate you. Late.